Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching me from. You're welcome to Reality Check with YEWANDE. My name is YEWANDE ADEKOYA. I'm a management coach, I'm a management consultant, and a business coach. I help small businesses to grow their business. People that are either coming into business or they're just starting business and they're in their early years and they're struggling, and those are the people that are my major targets, that are my clients. And so I come every week to help businesses, and we talk about it, how we can get through. And today I decided to come and talk about accountability, because as entrepreneurs we need it to be able to achieve in this new year. And I will start by saying that, by now an entrepreneur should have their goals written out, their strategies drawn out, and what you intend to do on a regular basis, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis to achieve whatever goals you might have written out. So you have events, you have activities that you're supposed to do, no matter what. Even if you do contracts and all that, you have clients you're supposed to meet, you must have drawn up all the things that you're supposed to do, And so it is very, very important that we are now accountable. What is accounting? What is accountability? It's just the ability to report, okay, and give account of the events, the tasks, the experience, all the things that you have put down that you're supposed to do. Take, for example, if you're working as an employee, you're working for an organization, you are accountable to them for the time, for everything that you do during that period. And most of the time they have a system in place that checks you to be sure that you are doing what you're supposed to do. And even if you don't, you get penalized, you get punished, or you get rewarded for whatever it is that you're supposed to do. So that is an employee. And unfortunately, most of us in this side of the world, I'm streaming from Lagos, most of us in this side of the world are already used to people telling us what to do, are already used to working for people, or the schools have also prepared us to get ready to work for people. So we're not used to we being accountable to ourselves. And then, well, we cannot blame ourselves. We can't blame the past, but we can only look forward into the future. And that's why we have people like me coming up on a regular basis to help us with this level, with this important skill, with this important characteristic that we have to help our businesses to move to another level. Okay, so I say that for an entrepreneur to be successful, you have to be self-accountable. You have to be self-accountable. You are the one that will draw the goals. You are the one that will draw up what you want. For an employee, it is the employer that gives you what you want. But for an entrepreneur, you are the one that will draw up what you want. Like you have written out your goals for the year, and then you have put out the things that you need to do. If you are not careful, if you do not have self-accountability, you will not be able to follow through on what you want, and you will not be answerable, because you are not answerable to anyone. So self-accountability is very important as an entrepreneur, as a business person, because that is how you can move ahead. Okay, so you have to be able to give yourself, because you can put systems in place, because it's tough. It is tough unless you have done it over a period of time. Over time, then you're sure that, okay, I can do this by myself. I can put myself, your body would have adjusted to the habits that will help you to be accountable indeed. But if you have not been doing that, it will take a conscious and a deliberate effort to be accountable to yourself. This year we have to achieve. This year we have to move forward as entrepreneurs, as business people. I want to be getting feedbacks from you on all the things that you have learned, how you've been able to move on and all that. Because really and truly, if you pay coach, you attend online courses, you learn this, you learn that, if you do not do it, if you do not do those events, those activities, those things that the task that you're supposed to do that will help you achieve, then it will be like you're wasting your time. So that's why I've come to just, help us, to encourage us, or to remind us, for those that know, on the things that you're supposed to do, and so that we can move our businesses forward. So the first thing is you have to be self-accountable. You are your owner. You are the owner of your own business. Nobody, no boss, nobody is coming in to come and punish you or put you under pressure to achieve what you have written down to achieve. Take for example, I was in a class, and then our teacher was talking about what we wanted to earn this year, and some people were mentioning millions. And in my mind, I'm like, it is not only because we're entrepreneurs, we can quote any figure you want. But if you do not put yourself under that stage of accountability, that stage of discipline to be able to do it, you will not, it will just be a wish. Okay? So it is very, very key that we do that. Break down into as the pieces that we can monitor. We can put systems in place so that we ourselves will be able to follow through on that system. It is the same way you say there is no, you report to yourself, there's no boss. It's supposed to be a good thing, but it's also a negative thing if you do not know how to work it. So you report to yourself, and then it's supposed to be a good thing, but we need to work at that so that you don't get it done. I always say in most of my trainings, in most of my coaching classes, that if, for example, it's raining or something happened, maybe you're not happy, will you go to work? Will you go to your employer's office where you are being paid? If the answer is yes, then as an entrepreneur, you do not have an excuse to do this, to not to do the same, because you are reporting to yourself. So self-accountability is very, very key. As an entrepreneur, you need to develop the skill of being self-driven. The skills that can help you to be self-accountable is a skill called self-driven. You are not waiting for somebody to drive you. Whether you feel like it, whether you don't feel like it, it is a skill that you can develop. You put yourself under that discipline, under that inconvenience. You inconvenience yourself to be able to do what you have to do, because you are your own boss. You report to yourself, and then you are the one that will have to put yourself under that pressure. Like I said, even if you pay all the courses, you get all the coaches and all that, they cannot force you to do anything until you take that decision by yourself. You have to be disciplined and trust yourself. Trust yourself to be able to take decisions, to be able to move forward. A lot of people are not achieving, not because they can't, but because we have this issue of accountability, this issue of not taking responsibility for it. Because if you don't do it, nothing will happen. Nobody will punish you. Nobody will penalize you. But like I always say, and as an employee, if you don't do it, you get punished. Why are people always afraid that performance time, if they don't do well, they get sacked or something happens? It's because they are being accountable. Their performances, their tasks are being measured. So as entrepreneurs ourselves, we have to put systems in place. You punish yourself if you have to, if you don't do what you have to. It is very, very key that as you are building your business, you put those structures in place, put that discipline in place, because even if you begin to employ people or your employees, they watch you. And if you are not leading by example, then it is not good enough, even though you pay. So you become those employers that just employ people to do the work, and then you don't believe in it and all that. They are watching you. So you need to lead by example. You need to have that self-accountability. You are your own boss. You are the one that will put yourself under that pressure, self-driven, that discipline, and trust yourself that whatever decision you make, whatever risk you take, you just have to do it. Remember, for those of us that are just coming in, we're supposed to write our goals. We write out our goals, we break them down. And it has gone to the stage of accountability that everything that you say you will do, you should follow through. So when you need to check yourself, am I accountable? Am I being self-accountable? Look at it. The mails that you get, do you respond to your mails? Do you respond do you take responsibility? Do you do what you say? Or do you make excuses? Do you blame others? Are you honest with yourself? These are the things you need to ask yourself, because nobody can do this for you. Nobody. We are here to make you see that you don't have to always work for somebody else. You can actually orientate yourself, because where is the job? Where are the jobs now? The future belongs to those that create employment, The future belongs to the entrepreneurs. And so the earlier you begin to learn, we are learning to be entrepreneurs, what we need to do to be entrepreneurs indeed. And not people will say, oh, that's the kind of entrepreneur you want me to be. No. So I'm sorry. I'd rather stay in employment, or I'd rather work for somebody else. No, let's be good examples. Maybe you see yourself as working for someone else if you can't work for yourself. Okay, so it is very important that we look at the characteristics that we have. Are we really self-accountable? Okay, and if you cannot, what do we do? What do we need to do? Okay, as you have broken down your task and event, maybe you are supposed to go to somewhere once a week. You are supposed to call this. You are supposed to call your client. You're supposed to deliver something. You put those things in place. Like if you've been following me, you know that I always talk about this. For an entrepreneur, it is very important that you have a system in place, so that the system is what works for, what pushes you. The reminder is what pushes you. So even though the body is weak, the spirit is willing, the body is weak, you know, you will still be able to do it, because a reminder comes up and tells you you have to call client A today. You have to follow through on this and all that. If you put those systems in place, unless you don't want to succeed this year, you know, you have to make sure that you are disciplined enough to be self-accountable. Okay, so you put those measures in place. You set the goals into little chunks that you can easily follow through. You work with a list. Make use of lists. Make use of stickers. Make use of things that can remind you of how you can do things. Especially if you have partners, you know, it's easier for you. But if you are the only one for now, you need things that will remind you, because entrepreneur wants to do everything, but then a lot of times we don't get a lot of things done. So it is very key that we make use of lists of things we want to do, prioritize, that will make ourselves accountable. Sometimes you do a review of your day. What are the things that I'm supposed to have done? You know, what are reporting the events that you have done to yourself? Did you do it? Did you not do it? You do it at the end of the day. You do it at the end of the week. You do it at the end of the month. And so that you are able to appraise yourself. You are able to, performance appraisal. Analyze where you have gotten it right and where you have gotten it wrong. And when you get it right, you reward yourself. That's another thing that you do. You reward yourself, okay, for what you have been able to do, for the hurdles that you have been able to pass. And then if you have not gotten it right, then you punish yourself. You can reduce your salary that you're paying yourself. Remember, if you've been following me, you will know that these things are very, very key for you as an entrepreneur to be able to succeed. If you are building a business and you're not just doing your one-on-one, your things that you want to do, you know, just to keep body and soul together. No, we are building a business here, and it is very important. You punish yourself. Either you reduce your salary or whatever it is. If you for some of us that have worked in organizations, we know that some people that perform exceptionally well, they might give them bonuses, they might give them some incentive, but people that don't will not get it. So you can do that for yourself as well, or for your team if you have people working with you. But right now we're working on our own mentality, because if you can actually get it into yourself, it's easier to lead by example and people will follow you. Okay, like I always say, put a system in place. Have your set of, you know, everything that you need to do. Have a set of all that you need. Diaries, notes, your computer, your reminder, things that will help you. You know, you can just get things, put structures and systems in place. I always talk about that as an entrepreneur. Don't say that because you are just starting out, you just do as you like. No, it is very, very key. If you know that you cannot work by yourself, which is tough, you can work with groups. Look for teams, look for groups of people that can help you. Look for accountability partners. I always talk about this. There's no way you can go through what you're going through, especially in this period of time, that you can do it alone. You can't. Even though the business is yours, but you will need people to actually help you out. And you are the same person that needs to submit yourself to those people, because if you do not, there's nothing they can do. But you tell them, I'd like to achieve this. This is how I'd like to work it out. I will give you my reports on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. It will really help you. Okay, so look for groups that are doing the same thing. People that can, you know, hold you accountable, that you can report to on a regular basis. You can get coaches, you can get mentors. I have people that, you know, I do that for, but I will say as well that it is also very important that we work on ourselves, because even if you get coaches, if you get mentors, I have a lot of people that I'm praying for them because they know what to do. You know everything you need to do. It is only divine prayers, because for you to do it and just be accountable. Some people run away from that, but for you to be successful, I know that it is very important that we get accountability partners, we get people that we report to, and that. And then another thing that I've written down is that we need to emphasize our strength. So you will take a look at yourself. What is your area of strength? What is your area of weakness? Do you procrastinate? Are you afraid? What can you do? What can you not do? So the area of strength is what you will emphasize. You will emphasize that you already know that. You work on that. But the area of weakness, you need to sharpen your skills. You need to look for how you can really work at it, because it will affect your business. Although the area of weakness as well, you can also get people that you can pay to do that, because we have that. Excuse me. So we have places where you have partners and you know your area of strength. Your partner also has his area of strength, and the two of you come together and then you work on your strengths. That's very good. I do that a lot in my business. I have partners that we have different areas of strength and we're able to work with that. If you can do that, it will help your business. Accountability in business, taking responsibility in business is very, very important. If you don't do it, you might be lucky sometimes, but for someone, check out someone that is consistent, someone that is accountable. Because if you say you do something, for example, and then you come for the first 1 week, you were not able to do it, you score below 50%. The next week you do the same, like that. If it was your child and it's coming with those kind of reports, will you be worried, or will you be okay with it? So it is very important. When we do things like that, our brain tends to send signals to us that, hey, you need to work more on yourself. Nobody, as an entrepreneur, nobody will beat you up. Nobody will do anything to you if you do not achieve. But if you actually achieve, it is for your own good. They are the one that has written down those mighty things that you want to achieve in the course of the year. You are the one that wants to do this. You are the one that wants to do that and expand. So it is very important that we follow through. You follow through and you are accountable for yourself. I hope you've been able to get value from this. It is very key. I'm coming out to talk about this because the whole month is already gone. The year is going. We have about 320 more days to go in the course of the year. So what have you been able to achieve? Nobody can do that for you unless yourself. So you need to review yourself. Accountability is very important. Work on yourself. If you need help, reach out to people for help. DM me if you need help with your business. No matter the business area that you are in, all of us need to be accountable, because we all need money. If you do not work, you do not do what you have to do, the income doesn't come in, then the bills don't get paid. And that's not what we want. In fact, we don't want to just live, barely surviving or being victims. We want to be influencers. We want to be people that will change impact, make impact. So you are not even just taking care of yourself, you are taking care of others. Okay, thank you for joining me. Today was just about accountability in business. As an entrepreneur, you need to be self-accountable. You need to take responsibility for your actions. You need to follow through on what you have promised that you will do. Put systems in place that can check you on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. You need to do reviews to know whether you are moving forward or not. Thank you so much for for coming to my page, for watching a replay. If you're watching a replay, put it there. Send me a thumbs up if you got value. Also, please put in your contribution and let me know what you have been able to do. Let somebody else learn from you as well. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye.